Welcome to Your Mom. I'm Ashley Adamson.
I'm Lisa McCaffrey.
I have two small children who do not listen to a word that I say. You have
4 adult, sort of semi-adult / adult children that don't listen to anything I say.
Okay, so there's a lot of common ground here. English major.
Correct. And you as well?
Yes.
Yes.
See, we're really, I mean...
We're smart.
We're smart.
We're good with the words.
We're so good with the words.
And
so,
bonus, we can both read.
we can read. We're smart with words. And so if you can do those two things, you should start a podcast.
100%. Thus,
Your Mom.
Your Mom.
So I do want to tell the story of the first time that I met you. Do you remember the first time we met? And you don't have to feel bad if you don't, but do you remember?
Refresh my memory, because I remember meeting you several times, and I don't know which was the actual first.
Right.
Because I'm old.
So
I don't think good.
my first, and I think I'd interviewed Ed. I remember the first time I interviewed Ed was, I was working sidelines for the Pac-12 Network, and it was a Stanford, I think they were playing Army, and it was his first game his freshman year. Yep. And Ed was a ball of stress. I mean, I've never seen anyone. And I said, what's more stressful, watching your son play or playing in the Super Bowl? And he was like, "This, not even close. This is the most stressed I've ever felt." So I remember meeting him, and then I remember hearing about you. Like, you were a little bit of a, legend. Like, oh, if you like Ed, wait till you meet Lisa.
Yeah, because I'm smart.
Yeah,
you're
like
really
she's like
attractive.
Yep.
Totally. Like,
Yep.
oh my God, like so
great hair.
Yeah,
great smile.
the important things.
The important, exactly. English major, she can read.
Right.
So the Heisman ceremony was the first time that we actually really connected. I think we maybe met in person. Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting that was truly the first time that we connected, because that is where the idea for this show started. I remember seeing you talk to Christian, and it was like it was the day before the Heisman. So we were in New York, 2015, and there was this media availability at some, swanky hotel. I don't know where we were.
Yeah, I remember.
Hotel. And we did, yeah, exactly. And so we're doing all these interviews, and I'm interviewing you and Ed, and you guys are hilarious. And as we're wrapping up, I'm watching the dynamic, and I think you only had one other son. Who else was there from your family? Was Dylan there?
All 4 kids ended up coming,
they did all
but
come.
they might not have all been there at that day, because I think Max came the day of, from what I remember, because he was playing himself.
You were all taking a family picture, and I remember you were kind of at the end, and you, I think you pinched Chris. You were just like, "Can you stand up straighter? Can you smile?" And he gave you this "Oh my God, Mom!" Rolled his eyes, and you were just like, "Stand up straight! Look at the camera." And it was the first time. I just remember it so well, because I had known Christian. I'd met him 2 years before that, and he is the most polished. He's this perfect little specimen from everything that I.
Calm down, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I guess it's only 3 minutes into our podcast. Yeah. Okay. We'll save that for the end of the podcast. But I remember seeing him seeing him as a son for the first time, and not as this superstar, unbelievable athlete and Heisman candidate, Heisman winner in my mind, by the way. And I just, it was it humanized him in a way that I saw him as a son, and instead of the superstar. And I remember thinking later, there is no one that can humanize somebody like a mom. And then we got to actually connect beyond that, and I interviewed you right before I had my first kid, 2 days before I had my first kid.
Wow.
My son.
Who's now how old?
Who's now 5.
Wow.
So this has been, this, and have talked about this idea for a long time, of doing a podcast in which we interview moms of very highly successful people. And we'll start with athletes. That's right. Let's talk about.
Easy.
And I remember I called you and said, I'm just going to call her. Let's see if she says yes. I doubt she's going to say yes. And if she says no, then at least she'll maybe come on. If I host it, maybe she'll come on and be a guest. And you said, immediately, yes. And it almost felt too good to be true. So my first question to you is, why did you say yes?
Oh. Well, first off, I was driving to Greeley, so I would have said yes to anything under the sun besides what I was doing. Driving to Greeley, Colorado, so which has an unusual odor. It's famous for smelling a particular way.
Yes.
They call it the smell of money. So I would have said yes, literally, if you told me to let's go jump off a bridge together, it'd be really fun. I'm like, yes, whatever, I'll do whatever you want right now. But no, you literally, I was driving, and it was like the divine intervention, because I was thinking to myself on the way, going, gosh, I'm like following my husband one more time. He's coaching out at University of Northern Colorado, and my son is going to play there. My other son's coaching there. And I'm just driving out to Greeley to support him, which I love doing, and I'll do forever. But at the same time, I'm like, I really need to do something for myself. I really do. It's been way too long. And my youngest Luke had been 2 years in college, and I'd done the remodel in the house and all the things that you should do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a college education. I can read. Not to brag or anything, but I can read.
I just need to college education. We should make sure to clarify that you went to Stanford and were
it wasn't Boston College.
Yeah, well, right.
Which is a great college, too.
It is a great college. It's not Stanford University.
Whatever, yeah.
But
I could kick a soccer ball. So.
Your point being that you...
Yeah, that I was literally, hit me right then. You called it. I'm like, wow, this is perfect. It's a win-win. I would love to... I would love to get on the air and rag on my kids for a couple minutes a week.
It's the least that we can do.
Yeah, it's just, I kind of feel like I need to. So.
Yeah, it's a therapy session too, for sure. We should get couches for future
100%, or beds. Just get
little
beds here and talk. Yeah, unlicensed therapy.